The massive alien fleet darkened Earth's skies like a swarm of metallic locusts. Their ships stretched from horizon to horizon, each one larger than the largest human aircraft carrier. At the center of this armada floated the flagship, a vessel that dwarfed all others, shaped like a curved blade ready to cut through Earth's defenses. Commander Zixthor stood on his command bridge, his 4 arms crossed behind his back as he stared at the blue planet below. His scaled skin reflected the soft purple lighting of the bridge, and his vertical pupils narrowed with anticipation. After conquering 17 worlds, Earth would be his 18th victory. "Prepare the broadcast," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of countless successful invasions. "Let these humans know their fate." In the Pentagon's war room, generals and world leaders gathered around screens showing the alien armada. Coffee cups trembled as the alien ship's engines rumbled overhead. General Sarah Martinez gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles white. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," a young lieutenant announced, his voice cracking. The screens flickered, and Commander Zixthor's face appeared. His red eyes glowed with malice, and the translators quickly converted his otherworldly speech into Earth's languages. "People of Earth," he began, mandibles clicking. "Your planet now faces the might of the Zixthorian Empire. We have conquered galaxies. We have broken civilizations. And now we offer you one chance to surrender." The room fell silent. Even the usual background hum of computers seemed muted. "Should you refuse," Zixthor continued, "we will unleash our ultimate biological weapon. A beast so terrible, it brought the mighty Centaurian Empire to its knees in mere days." General Martinez exchanged glances with her Chinese and Russian counterparts. They had run simulations of alien invasions, but nothing had prepared them for this reality. "You have 1 Earth hour to decide," Zixthor declared. "Surrender or face the beast." The broadcast cut off, leaving the war room in tense silence. Satellite feed showing movement on the flagship, reported Captain Rodriguez, pointing to his screen. "They're transporting something." General Martinez leaned forward. "What kind of readings are we getting?" "Life signs, ma'am. Single organism." "But," Rodriguez frowned at his instruments, "it's smaller than we expected." In his flagship, Commander Zixthor smiled at his masterstroke. He approached the containment unit where their ultimate weapon waited. The beast's eyes glowed in the darkness of its cage, and Zixthor felt a shiver run down his spine, despite having seen it many times before. "Soon," he whispered to the creature, "you will bring another world to its knees." His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Vex, approached cautiously. "The transport beam is ready, Commander. Shall we begin the demonstration?" Zixthor nodded slowly. "Yes. Let them witness true terror." Back on Earth, military bases worldwide tracked the alien transport beam as it activated. Whatever this biological weapon was, it was about to make its appearance. General Martinez stood in the Pentagon's courtyard with other military leaders, watching the sky. The alien beam touched down 100 meters away, creating a small crater in the manicured lawn. As the smoke cleared, they could see a containment unit materializing. It was smaller than expected, much smaller. Red warning symbols covered its surface in alien script, and it hummed with energy fields. "Stay alert," Martins ordered, though she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about all this. The containment unit's door began to open with a dramatic hiss. Commander Zixthor watched through the video feed, anticipating Earth's panic. Soon, they would see the beast that had terrorized his own people for generations. Soon, they would understand true fear. Little did he know, Earth's response would not be quite what he expected. The containment unit's door opened with a dramatic hiss, releasing a cloud of purple mist. Military officers reached for their weapons. News cameras zoomed in. The world held its breath. A small paw stepped out of the mist. General Martinez blinked, then blinked again. Following the paw came a creature about the size of a beagle. It had 6 legs, metallic scales that shimmered like rainbows, and large glowing purple eyes. Two fluffy tails wagged behind it, and pointed ears twitched as it looked around curiously. That's their ultimate weapon," Captain Rodriguez whispered. The creature tilted its head and made a sound somewhere between a purr and a chirp. In his flagship, Commander Zix Thor watched the video feed with satisfaction. "Observe their terror," he told his crew proudly. "Soon they will. Oh my goodness, it's adorable," squealed one of the junior officers on Earth, breaking protocol completely. Zix Thor's mandibles dropped open. "What?" The creature hopped out of its containment unit, its 6 paws making tiny clicking sounds on the concrete. It approached the gathered military personnel, who were now wearing expressions that looked suspiciously like smiles. "Commander," Sub-Commander Vex said nervously, "I don't think they're running away." "They must be in shock," Zix Thor declared. "The beast's presence has frozen them in fear." On Earth, General Martinez had crouched down, extending her hand carefully toward the creature. It sniffed her fingers with a tiny silver nose, then gave them a small lick with a glowing blue tongue. "Ma'am," a sergeant said urgently, "this might be dangerous." The creature rolled onto its back, exposing a belly covered in softer, fuzzy scales. "Look at its little belly," someone cooed. Several phones came out to take pictures. In orbit, Commander Zix Thor was pacing frantically. "This is impossible. That beast is from the death plains of Zix Thor Prime. Its ancestors hunted our greatest warriors. It can grow to the size of." He stopped as he watched General Martinez scratching the creature's belly, while it wiggled in joy. "Send the educational video," Zix Thor ordered desperately. "Show them what this beast becomes." A new broadcast began playing on all Earth channels. It showed massive versions of the creature, the size of houses, hunting on an alien world. They were running down prey, using their powerful jaws and claws. "See," Zix Thor's voice boomed. "This is what awaits you. This is your doom." On Earth, people watched the broadcast while comparing it to the live footage of the Doom, currently chasing its own tails in the Pentagon courtyard. "So it's basically a puppy that gets big?" someone asked. "Like a Great Dane." Another voice added, "I want one." The creature had now found a tennis ball that had escaped from the base's recreation area. It brought the ball to General Martinez, dropping it at her feet and looking up expectantly. Martinez looked at the ball, then at the creature, then at the sky where Zix Thor's furious face was still broadcasting. A slow smile spread across her face. "Send a message to the alien commander," she ordered. "Tell him we'd like to examine this weapon more closely." In orbit, Zix Thor received the message and smiled triumphantly. "See, now they want to study it. Now they understand their doom." Sub-Commander Vex watched the video feed showing General Martinez throwing the tennis ball, the terrifying beast happily bounding after it on its 6 legs. "Sir," Vex said carefully, "I don't think that's what they meant by examine." The creature returned with the ball, its tails wagging so fast they were just blurs. Its purple eyes glowed with joy, and its metallic scales sparkled in the sunlight. Humanity's first contact with alien life wasn't going quite as anyone had expected, and Commander Zix Thor was about to learn a very important lesson about humans and their ability to make friends with absolutely anything. Sub-Commander Vex stood nervously in Commander Zix Thor's private quarters, watching his superior officer scroll through Earth's social media feeds. The creature they had sent down as a weapon was now trending worldwide, under the hashtag #SpacePuppy. "This makes no sense." Zix Thor slammed all 4 hands onto his desk. "Let me show you why these humans should be terrified." He activated a holographic display, showing scenes from their homeworld, Zix Thor Prime. The images flickered to life, revealing a harsh landscape of purple mountains and red deserts. "Watch," he commanded. "This is why our people fear these beasts." The hologram showed a massive version of their weapon, fully grown and the size of a small building. It was stalking through ancient ruins on their homeworld, hunting their ancestors. Its metallic scales gleamed like armor, and its purple eyes glowed with predatory intelligence. Our greatest cities had to be built underground, Zixthor explained. These creatures ruled our surface world for millennia. Our bravest warriors would not dare face one alone. The scene changed to show more historical footage. A group of Zixthorians in ancient battle armor fled from a pack of the giant beasts. Their six-legged pursuit was terrifying to watch. Meanwhile, on Earth, the situation was quite different. "Who's a good boy? Who's a good alien boy?" General Martinez was saying in a very un-general-like voice. The small creature was sitting perfectly, waiting for another treat. Someone had already tied a small bow around one of its neck ridges. "Man," Captain Rodriguez reported, trying to maintain his professional composure. "The creature has learned sit, stay, and fetch in under an hour. It appears to be more intelligent than Earth dogs." The creature understood it was being discussed and let out a happy chirp purr. Its double tails wagged, creating a small breeze. Back on the flagship, Vex gathered his courage. "Sir, perhaps we should consider that humans have a different perspective on these beings." "Different perspective?" Zixthor clicked his mandibles in frustration. "Let me show you more." He played another historical record. This one showed how their scientists had finally managed to capture and contain some of the younger creatures, leading to their current biological weapon program. "It took our greatest minds decades to learn how to control these beasts," he said proudly. "We are the only civilization to ever tame them." The hologram showed the careful containment protocols, the reinforced cages, the teams of handlers in protective gear, all for creatures that, in their infant stage, were no larger than Earth's domestic dogs. On the Pentagon lawn, the terrifying beast was now wearing a custom-made collar with the name Sparkles engraved on it. Someone from the K9 unit had brought over some dog toys, and the creature was showing remarkable skill at solving puzzle toys designed for Earth's most intelligent dog breeds. "Sir," a scientist reported to General Martinez, "preliminary scans show the creature's biology. It is remarkably stable. It seems the aliens have already done all the work of domesticating it. It's as tame as any Earth puppy." Martinez watched as the alien pet rolled around in the grass, clearly enjoying the Earth's sun on its scales. "Send a message to the alien commander," she ordered. "Request a detailed demonstration of their weapons capabilities." In orbit, Zixthor received the message and grinned. "Finally, they want to see its true power. Prepare for planetary surface deployment." Vex looked at the Earth feeds again, where the creature was now performing tricks for treats. "Sir, I really think we should consider." "No time for doubts, Sub-Commander. We will show these humans why the beast is feared across the galaxy." Little did Commander Zixthor know, he was about to learn an important lesson about humanity's special talent: turning feared predators into beloved pets. Commander Zixthor's dramatic entrance to Earth was somewhat ruined by the sight that greeted him. As his transport beam deposited him in the Pentagon courtyard, he found his fearsome biological weapon wearing a tiny military vest and performing an obstacle course. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, all four arms gesturing wildly. General Martinez stepped forward, maintaining her professional demeanor despite the alien beast, now excitedly bouncing around her feet. "Commander, we've been studying your weapon extensively." "Sparkles, sit," called out Captain Rodriguez. The creature immediately sat, tails wagging. Zixthor's eye twitched. "Sparkles. We found the name appropriate, given the reflective qualities of its scales," Martins explained diplomatically. She held up a tablet showing detailed scans. "Your species has done remarkable work domesticating these creatures. The genetic modifications are impressive." "Domestica? No, you don't understand." Zixthor stomped forward. "This beast will grow to tremendous size." "It will." "Oh, we know," Martinez interrupted, swiping to show growth projection charts. "Our scientists estimate it will reach the size of a small building within 5 years. We're already designing appropriate care facilities." Sparkles chose this moment to flop over and expose its belly, looking at Zixthor with hopeful purple eyes. "No, bad beast, you are supposed to strike fear." Zixthor pointed dramatically at the creature. "Show them your hunting prowess." Sparkles interpreted this as an invitation to play and bounded over to Zixthor, dropping a slightly drool-covered tennis ball at his feet. In orbit, Sub-Commander Vex watched the video feed with a mixture of horror and fascination. The mighty Commander Zixthor, conqueror of 17 worlds, was trying to back away from a playful space puppy. "The training protocols," Zixthor shouted. "The beast only responds to our specific genetic signature. It shouldn't be obeying human commands." As if to prove him wrong, Sparkles performed a perfect rollover at Captain Rodriguez's hand signal. "Actually, a human scientist stepped forward. We discovered that your genetic modifications made them extremely responsive to positive reinforcement. Watch this." She held up a treat. "Sparkles, shake hands." One of Sparkle's 6 paws extended politely toward the scientist. Zixthor stared in disbelief. Then he noticed something else. His own crew members, watching from the ship's feeds, were making sounds that sounded suspiciously like awe. "This is impossible," he muttered. "On our world, these creatures were the apex predators. They hunted our ancestors. They shaped our entire civilization. Like wolves did with humans." Martinez nodded. "We have some experience with turning fearsome predators into loyal companions. Would you like to try giving Sparkles a treat?" Before Zixthor could refuse, Sparkles had already trotted over to him, looking up with those big purple eyes. The creature sat perfectly still, all 6 paws placed neatly together, double tails creating small dust clouds with their wagging. I don't." Zixthor found himself accepting a treat from Martinez. "Just hold it out flat on your palm," she instructed, moving as if in a dream. The mighty alien commander held out one of his 4 hands. Sparkles very gently took the treat, then licked his palm in thanks. Something strange happened in Zixthor's chest, a warm feeling he'd never experienced before. "Would you like to throw the ball?" Rodriguez offered, holding out a fresh tennis ball. "I am a commander of the most powerful fleet in 3 galaxies," Zixthor said stiffly. "I do not throw balls for." Sparkles looked at him with hopeful eyes. 5 minutes later, Sub-Commander Vex was watching his superior officer playing fetch with their supposedly terrifying biological weapon, while the humans tried not to smile too obviously. The invasion of Earth wasn't quite going according to plan. The emergency meeting of the Zixthorian War Council was not going as planned. On the massive view screen, Commander Zixthor was trying to maintain his dignity, while Sparkles snoozed peacefully in his lap. "The humans have corrupted our ultimate weapon," declared one council member. "With respect," Zixthor said, absent-mindedly scratching behind Sparkles' ears, "I believe we may have misunderstood these creatures all along." The council chambers erupted in chaos. "Misunderstood? They terrorized our world for generations." Perhaps, Sub-Commander Vex stepped forward. "We should consider what the humans have achieved in just 3 days." The view screen split to show multiple scenes from Earth. In one, a Zixthorian weapons officer was teaching humans how to brush Sparkle's metallic scales. In another, human scientists were sharing their knowledge of animal behavior with curious alien researchers. "They're calling it the Puppy Protocol," Vex explained. "Their approach to our biological weapon has changed everything." Meanwhile, on Earth, General Martinez was dealing with her own diplomatic chaos. Her inbox was flooded with messages from around the world. "Can we get one for the London Zoo?" "Does Japan have permission to start a breeding program?" The internet demands more Sparkles content. But the biggest surprise came from the Zixthorian crew members themselves. More and more of them were requesting permission to visit Earth's surface, specifically to learn about what humans called pet care. "Ma'am," Captain Rodriguez reported, "we have another 30 alien officers requesting to visit the K9 training facility." Martinez watched as a group of Zixthorian scientists cooed over YouTube videos of Earth puppies. Who would have thought? She mused. The key to interstellar peace was a six-legged space dog. In the Pentagon courtyard, Sparkles had become the center of an impromptu cultural exchange. Alien crew members were learning about tennis balls and belly rubs, while humans eagerly absorbed information about the creature's homeworld. You mean they naturally bond with a single family unit? A Zixthorian biologist asked, watching Sparkles follow Martinez around devotedly. Just like Earth dogs, a human trainer explained. They're pack animals at heart. The news only got more interesting when Sparkles began teaching Earth dogs some new tricks. The base's K9 unit was fascinated to watch their trained German shepherds learning to communicate with the alien pet. Back in orbit, Commander Zixthor was facing a new crisis. What do you mean? The crew wants to visit Earth's pet stores. Sir, Vex reported, they've discovered something called chew toys. Apparently, they're very important for developing young creatures like Sparkles. And the Council. They're reviewing footage of something called puppy training videos. Zixthor sighed, looking down at Sparkles, who was now wearing a custom-made spacesuit decorated with little stars. The creature looked up at him with complete trust and affection. Perhaps, he said slowly, it's time to consider a different approach to our relations with Earth. Sir, Vex perked up. Prepare a diplomatic proposal. Instead of conquest. Zixthor watched as Sparkles chased a laser pointer dot being projected by a laughing human scientist. Perhaps we could discuss a cultural exchange program. The message spread quickly through both human and alien communications channels. The feared beasts of Zixthor Prime were being reclassified. No longer weapons, they were now the galaxy's most exotic pets. And somewhere in the Pentagon, a six-legged alien puppy dreamed happily of tennis balls and treats, unaware that it had just prevented an interstellar war and created the foundation for a lasting peace between two civilizations. All because humans had a special talent for seeing the adorable and the terrifying. General Martinez found Commander Zixthor in the Pentagon's new Interspecies Relations Center, staring at an ancient Earth painting of wolves hunting alongside early humans. Fascinating, he said, all four arms clasped behind his back. Your ancestors actually chose to approach these predators. Not exactly, Martinez explained, as Sparkles dozed nearby on a custom-made bed, with spaces for all six legs. It was a gradual process. The friendlier wolves would hang around human camps, looking for food. Over generations, they became dogs. Zixthor clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. And you're saying the same thing happened on our world, but we were too afraid to notice. A team of human and alien scientists were working at nearby terminals, comparing data. Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's leading xenobiologist, pulled up two DNA sequences side by side. Look at this, she pointed. The creatures you feared. They were already trying to bond with your species. Those who stayed near your underground cities showed the same genetic changes we see in early dog domestication. But they hunted us. Zixthor protested. Only the wild ones. Captain Rodriguez joined in, carrying a new toy for Sparkles. The ones near your cities were probably protecting their chosen territory, and the Zixthorians inside it, from the truly wild packs. The revelation hit Zixthor like a meteor strike. You mean, when we thought they were laying siege to our cities? They were guarding them, Martinez finished, just like Earth's dogs guard their homes. As if to demonstrate, Sparkles suddenly perked up at an unfamiliar sound. The creature moved to stand protectively in front of both Martinez and Zixthor, all six legs braced, before realizing it was just a new group of alien scientists arriving for their Earth Pet Care 101 class. See that? Rodriguez smiled. Natural guardian instinct. In another part of the facility, Sub-Commander Vex was attending one of these classes, along with 20 other alien officers. They watched in amazement as human trainers demonstrated how Earth's wolves had evolved into hundreds of different dog breeds. Your species understood this power thousands of years ago, Vex realized. The power to make allies of predators. It's more than that, the trainer explained, showing pictures of working dogs, therapy dogs, and family pets. We learn to understand each other, to communicate, to form real bonds. Meanwhile, the Zixthorian War Council was reviewing new evidence from their historical archives. Footage that they had always interpreted as attacks now looked very different. Young creatures approaching cities with wagging tails, adults defending Zixthorian expeditions from genuine threats. All this time, Zixthor murmured, watching Sparkles demonstrate its newfound skill at catching frisbees. We were missing the obvious. Sometimes fear blinds us to potential friendships, Martine said diplomatically, but it's never too late to learn. A small crowd had gathered to watch as Sparkles played. Humans and aliens stood side by side, sharing stories about pets and companionship. The creature had somehow become a bridge between their species, teaching both sides about trust and understanding. You know, Zixthor said, our scientists always wondered why the genetic modifications to make them weapons worked so easily. Now we know, we weren't changing their nature. We were just rediscovering what they always were. Sparkles chose that moment to bring its favorite tennis ball to Zixthor, looking up with hopeful purple eyes. Go ahead, Commander, Martins grinned. Sometimes the best diplomacy happens during a game of fetch. As Zixthor threw the ball, with perfect form, he'd been practicing. He reflected on how differently this invasion had turned out. Instead of conquering Earth, his species had gained something far more valuable. A new understanding of their own history, and friends who could help them see familiar things in new ways. And it all started because humans couldn't see a terrifying beast without wanting to pet it. 1 year after the failed invasion of Earth, the Interstellar Peace Conference looked very different from traditional diplomatic meetings. For one thing, there was a large play area in the center of the United Nations Assembly Hall, where Sparkles, now twice its original size, was teaching its puppies how to play fetch. Commander Zixthor, wearing his formal diplomatic robes, tried to maintain his serious expression as one of the puppies chewed playfully on his ceremonial staff. Next to him, General Martinez didn't even try to hide her smile. Shall we begin the signing ceremony? She asked, watching as delegates from both species played with the six-legged creatures. Just a moment, Zixthor said, reaching down to gently retrieve his staff. Little Terror, that's not a chew toy. Little Terror, Martins raised an eyebrow. That's what we used to call these creatures, Zixthor explained, now scratching behind the puppy's ears. Now it's just ironic. The peace treaty was historic in more ways than one. It included standard diplomatic agreements, trade deals, and cultural exchange programs. But its most popular section was dubbed the Sparkles Initiative, a cooperative breeding program for what Earth had nicknamed space dogs. The first graduates of our joint training program are ready, Sub-Commander Vex reported, now wearing the insignia of Interspecies Relations Officer. He gestured to a group of humans and Zixthorians who had learned to work together as space dog trainers. Sparkles, now officially designated as Ambassador of Goodwill, supervised the proceedings with dignified importance, until someone threw a ball, at which point dignity went out the window. Hard to believe we once thought they would help us conquer worlds, Zixthor mused, watching Sparkles lead its puppies in what appeared to be a game of tag. They did help you conquer worlds, Martins pointed out, just not in the way you expected. Look around. The assembly hall was filled with representatives from dozens of alien species, all of whom had come to see the famous creatures that had turned an invasion into the galaxy's most successful peace initiative. The Zixthorian Empire, once known for its military might, was now famous for something else entirely. They had become the galaxy's premier experts in giant, six-legged, metallic-scaled companion animals. Their fearsome fleet now transported space dogs to new homes across the stars. The breeding program on your homeworld is going well, Martins asked. Better than we imagined, Zixthor nodded. Now that we're not hiding underground, We've discovered entire populations of semi-domestic creatures living near our old cities. They've been trying to befriend us for generations. As if on cue, a small commotion erupted near the entrance. A newly arrived Earth puppy, a golden retriever, had spotted the space dog puppies. Tails wagged on both sides as a spontaneous play session began. Speaking of puppies, Martins grinned. I believe you have an announcement. Zixthor straightened his robes, trying to look serious despite the puppy now sleeping in one of his forearms. Yes, after much consideration, I've decided to adopt one of Earth's dogs. For cultural research purposes, of course. Of course, Martins agreed solemnly. And the fact that you spent 3 hours in the shelter playing with puppies yesterday was purely diplomatic. Purely, Zixthor nodded, then broke into what humans had learned was a Zixthorian smile. Though I must admit, your species was right all along. Sometimes the scariest things just need a chance to show their friendly side. As the peace treaty was signed, Sparkles led a chorus of happy barks and chirp purrs. The sound echoed through the hall, a symphony of two worlds coming together, all because humans had looked at a terrifying alien beast and thought, what a cute puppy. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was perfectly fine with everyone involved.